Welcome to this explainer. If you're thinking about selling your Northern New Hampshire home, you've probably stood in your driveway, looked around, and immediately started a mental checklist of every single thing that's broken, outdated, or just not perfect, right? It can be totally overwhelming. But today, we're diving into a brilliant real estate masterclass. We're looking at a highly effective pre-listing framework designed by Nick DeMers of the Northwoods property team. Nick's strategy is all about maximizing your return on investment without throwing a single dollar or burning a perfectly good weekend on unnecessary projects.
Okay, so let's hit the absolute biggest source of seller anxiety right up front. The question is, do you really need to fix everything before selling your house? Look, it's a massive myth that your home has to be completely flawless, like some brand new construction, to hit the market. A lot of sellers fall into the trap of thinking they only have two extremes, either gut renovate the whole place or sell it strictly as is at a giant discount. But as Nick DeMers points out, the reality is much more strategic. It is not about perfection, it's about preparation.
To get us there, Nick uses a really clear 6-part framework. We're going to cover prioritizing safety, financing repairs, curb appeal, avoiding over-improving, thinking like a buyer, and finally, the smart pre-listing strategy.
All right, let's jump straight into number 1. Prioritize safety repairs first.
So what actually qualifies as a safety repair? We're talking about fixes that address immediate hazards or conditions that create risk. And here's the catch. It's not just about the risk to the buyer who's going to live there. It's about risk for the home inspectors, the real estate appraisers, and the lenders. Think about it. If a home literally isn't safe to walk through or has glaring hazards staring you in the face, it immediately slams the brakes on the whole transaction and completely shatters the buyer's peace of mind.
Now, what's wild is just how basic a lot of these items actually are. In older Northern New Hampshire homes or out on our rural properties, we see the same common offenders all the time. We're looking at loose handrails, missing smoke or carbon monoxide detectors, exposed wiring down in the basement, broken porch steps, or active plumbing leaks. Seriously, these aren't million-dollar renovations. These are fundamental safety baselines. A missing handrail might just seem like a quirky feature of your old farmhouse to you, but trust me, to an inspector, that is a massive red flag. Which brings us to one of the most frequently asked questions we see. What repairs should sellers prioritize before listing? The answer is absolutely definitive. Always prioritize those safety-related repairs first. Unresolved safety issues just hand buyers a super easy excuse to walk away during the inspection period. They wreck buyer confidence, they tank inspection results, and, as we're about to see, they can literally destroy a buyer's ability to even get a loan for your house.
That leads perfectly into Section 2. Financing repairs matter.
So what exactly are financing repairs? Well, these are fixes that are strictly required by certain loan types, like FHA, VA, or USDA loans, before a lender will even approve the purchase. In Northern New Hampshire markets like Lancaster or Northumberland, Groveton, a ton of buyers rely on these specific government-backed programs. And these loans have incredibly strict property condition requirements. Things like peeling paint, a single broken window pane, or non-functioning heat, that stuff can literally stop the loan process dead in its tracks. To put that into perspective, just look at the buyer pool. Roughly 60% are financed through FHA, VA, or USDA, while 40% are cash or conventional. This brilliantly illustrates why this matters so much to you as a seller. Not every buyer is rolling up with a briefcase full of cash. A massive chunk of your potential buyers rely on those specific financing programs. If you ignore financing repairs, like say leaving peeling paint on your exterior trim, you are actively shrinking the number of people who are actually allowed to buy your home. More financing options equal a larger buyer pool, which for sure benefits you at the closing table.
Moving on to Section 3, the power of curb appeal.
Curb appeal is all about that critical first impression. For homes in Northern New Hampshire, especially out in rural spots like Stark or Stratford, buyers are taking in the driveway, the yard, the porch, and the outbuildings long before they ever step foot inside. That first impression starts the exact second their car turns off the main road onto your property. Nick has this fantastic, low-cost checklist to instantly boost this. Just mow the lawn. Trim back the brush. Remove the random clutter, and yes, that absolutely includes those rusted tractor parts sitting in the side yard. Freshen up the front porch. Touch up any obvious peeling paint. And tidy the driveway. These are simple, cheap actions, but they signal to the buyer that this home is deeply cared for. It sets a positive, welcoming tone before they even reach for the front doorknob.
So, you might be wondering, does curb appeal really matter when selling a home? Or is it just fluff?
The answer is a resounding yes. It matters so much. A strong first impression heavily influences how a buyer feels about the entire rest of the property. If they pull up to an untidy, overgrown yard, they instantly go on the defensive. They walk through your front door already expecting to find problems. But a clean, welcoming exterior? That puts them completely at ease.
All right, Section 4, avoid costly over-improving. Look, there is a huge difference between a smart repair and an over-improvement. Touching up trim paint, smart repair. Doing a full kitchen or bathroom remodel right before listing, that's incredibly risky. High-end personal design choices rarely return their full value at closing. Honestly, nobody wants to pay extra for your specific taste in neon green backsplashes. Nick's rule of thumb is great here. Ask yourself, does this repair solve a problem or does it improve financing? If the answer is no, it's probably not worth your money.
Section 5. Think like a buyer.
What you are really trying to build here is buyer confidence. That's the level of comfort a buyer feels that the home has been properly maintained and is actually worth pursuing. Buyers always notice condition. If they see obvious neglected items like a sagging gutter or a leaky faucet, it immediately makes them wonder what hidden, way more expensive issues might be lurking in the walls. Up here in Northern New Hampshire, that means they start stressing about the age of the roof, the condition of the septic system, or the well's water quality. Small visible improvements build the confidence they need to actually submit an offer.
Which brings us to our final part, Section 6, the smart pre-listing strategy.
This is the decision matrix. When you find an issue in your home, you basically have 4 choices. 1. You can repair it before listing, which is great for those safety and financing issues we talked about. 2. You can disclose it clearly up front, so buyers know exactly what they're getting into. 3. You can price the home accordingly, basically factoring the needed repair right into your asking price. Or 4. You can just leave it alone, especially if it's unlikely to affect the home's value or financing. The right move depends entirely on your specific market, your property, and what your goals are.
So, the big overarching question of this explainer? At the end of the day, what repairs actually help a home sell? The answer beautifully wraps up everything we've covered today. The repairs that actually help a home sell are the ones that improve safety, support financing options, clean up those vital first impressions, and reduce obvious buyer objections. Remember, the ultimate goal is strategy, not perfection. You're just preparing the home to position it properly for the local market.
And that right there is why having a localized strategy is so absolutely vital. Before you spend a single dollar on renovations, you need a solid plan. For homeowners in Northern New Hampshire, Nick DeMers and the Northwoods property team can help you navigate exactly which repairs your specific home actually needs. You can reach out to Nick using the contact information right here to build your own custom pre-listing strategy. But before you go, ask yourself this. Are you about to leave thousands of dollars on the closing table just because you missed a $50 safety fix, or maybe because you overspent on a kitchen remodel that nobody even asked for? It is definitely worth finding out. Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer, and happy selling.
Thanks for watching. I hope this helped make the real estate process a little more clear for you. If you liked what you saw, give the channel a like and subscribe, and be sure to check out more videos on Real Estate 101. I'll be answering questions that sellers and buyers in today's market have on their mind. And if you have a question, drop it in the comments. I'm Nick DeMers with the Northwoods property team, and we'll see you next time.